All right, yeah, we can go ahead and get started.
All right, I'm recording. Hello, everybody in the podcast universe. This is the Not the Worst podcast, episode 1, and I am JD. I'm joined with my friend Anthony over there, and we're gonna just talk about stuff. I guess do a little intro. We're both military. He's active duty. I'm a veteran. Uh, we served together for a while, and that's how we've maintained our connection over the years. He's stupid enough to stay in though. And I got out so I can grow manly beards like this. And we connected over gaming. We played Call of Duty 2 and Halo in our little dorm TV that was like the size of the room, or in one of our dorm rooms on like a tiny TV. We did that a couple of times. And
with the exception of our friend Zombie Aaron, since we didn't get permission to use their names, I'm just going to go ahead and use their gamer tags. But Zombie Aaron had a TV the size of a wall in his room, so
that's true. He did when he came back. Yeah, like it didn't even fit in there. That's fine.
Old rear projection TV.
Yeah. So that's kind of why we're doing this now, is because we've been playing games together so long that we decided we'd start talking about them. And we got military background, so we can talk about military stuff. And we're going to cover gaming news mostly for now until we get some other ideas. But I think that's it for me. I guess I should add that I've been out of the Navy for like 7-8 years now, something like that. And he's been in the whole time. I don't know.
Yep. My intro is going to be a little more in depth because I'm very sentimental. My name is Anthony, as JD was saying earlier. I know you will. You're going to probably keep interrupting me.
Yep.
My name is Anthony. I've known JD for 14 years. It'll be 15 come 2021. We met at being stationed at Yokota Air Base, Japan.
You add another year on the next year?
Well, because I kept saying I've known you for 15 years, then I realized, no, I've actually only known you for 14 because we haven't hit 2021 yet. So,
gotcha.
So that was like me correcting myself mid-thought, but I already spoke out loud. So,
good job, buddy.
I know. But yeah, I met him at Yokota Air Base, Japan. He was in the Navy. His career started off in radio broadcast. No, were you radio broadcaster first, or were you still doing commercials? Then you went radio broadcasting. I think you were commercials, then radio broadcasting.
Yeah, I don't remember which one I did first. I was doing radio and I did commercials. I don't know which one came first, chicken or the egg. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I was just going to use that. And I don't know if this is what inspired him to want to do this podcast with me. My inspiration is ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to be a radio DJ, but that has nothing to do with my career or history. But anyway, yeah, I've known this man for 14 years.
You're doing a wonderful job.
I know. We went our separate ways. He ended up leaving us. I don't remember. You went on a ship after Yokota, didn't you? Or was that Greece?
I went to Greece. Yeah. I was stranded on an island in Greece for a year with like no internet and no connection to the outside world. Yeah.
Which kind of sucked.
When we kind of lost touch for a little while. Yeah.
For a little bit. I mean, we kept up with you every now and then.
Yeah.
We formed our little group. It was technically 5 of us, but 4 of us have only really stuck together since Japan. We had the A team, and we got into like Call of Duty. I think it was one of the first competitive multiplayers we played together. Perfect Dark Zero.
That was a fun game.
Yeah, we did some Halo. We even got into Shadowrun when it came out, which is actually the reason why I ended with that one, because we're gonna talk about that a little later on in one of our discussion areas. And then since then, I ended up going from Japan to Virginia, and he went all over the world and ended up in the DC area, and that's where we ran into each other again, and he hasn't gotten rid of me since. So, and here we are, and he's overjoyed about it.
I've tried. Believe me, world, I have tried. He's like a barnacle on a ship. You got to scrape him off. You just got to dig in deep.
You can't just like throw me to the side or anything.
Oh.
And the worst part is, even when he was in DC, he thought he got rid of me for about 15 months, sending me off to Turkey, and we end up running into each other again at DreamHack Atlanta. So
yeah, we did go to DreamHack. Look, I got my DreamHack mug.
I debated about wearing my I see it.
I got water in it though. Don't get any ideas.
Yeah, that's actually part of another segment we're going to talk about later today about somebody that did not just have water in their stream. And
yeah, that's right.
But I thought about wearing my Rogue Company shirt, but I couldn't find it, and I've already delayed this podcast too late tonight. So, but
I was going to tell you that. I was going to say you could wear your Rogue Company shirt if you didn't know what you were going to wear.
Yeah, I was looking for it, couldn't find it, so we're stuck with this. We're stuck with my 9
I found mine in my backpack that I had taken to DreamHack. It's been in there for like 3 months. I haven't even taken it out.
I've worn it like 2 or 3 times since we got it. So
I know, it's not a bad shirt. Good
no,
shirt.
it's comfortable. You know what would have been awesome if they also gave us our closed beta code.
Never got to play the game. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that was the whole reason why we went back through to get the shirt and to get the closed beta.
Yep.
But I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I listed the games we played. Mindkiller did try streaming on Twitch for a little bit. Then he had to go out and become a dad or something like that, and that kind of
right. Fatherhood.
Yeah. So he took a huge break from that stuff, and now he's working on YouTube. You guys see him on the Mindkiller on YouTube. I'm sure we'll have all kinds of links to that in our descriptions wherever we post these podcasts. So
yeah, we'll put all that stuff in the little physical description, like under a YouTube video. It has space you can put links and stuff. So yeah, we'll do that. You want to go on to the topics?
Sure. I was just going to wrap it up real quick and said I've been streaming for a while, and I have 2 YouTube channels. One is political, which is why it's kind of died. And I promise we are not going to get political on here. We made an agreement. Politics are not to be discussed.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
We're just going to do hobbies and stuff.
That would not go down a good road.
No, it would not. And the podcast would probably last a very long time. So,
yeah.
But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into the talking points. Do you want to start with Valorant first, or do you want to do something for a smaller topic?
Yeah, let's just introduce that real quick. For those who don't know, all the 0 people that are listening, Riot Games, the makers of League of Legends, decided to make a competitive shooter. I guess they wanted to tap that part of the esports market. So they made a game, and they called it Project A for a long time. And I'd been hearing rumors about it, and people had been talking about it a little bit that they want to get into it because everybody expects it to be huge. Like, it's Riot Games. I mean, if they can make League of Legends and turn that into like this international storm, then they can do the same with a shooter. So that's what Project A has now. The big news recently was that they announced the name, which is Valorant. And now they've started leaking info and showing us the different maps and characters that are going to be in it. And we just kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit, go over some of the stuff we've seen. So why don't you share your opinion on it?
Well, I mean, I got all this for opinion. It's 2 sheets. Yeah.
What is happening?
Yeah. So, but it's because I watched the video. I can't remember who posted it. I'll have to put that in the description. He went through a rundown of all 8 heroes, their abilities and their purchasable abilities and their ultimates. I watched a couple gameplay footages. This guy particularly I watched, he actually went to a convention in California. I think he went to Riot Games and they let him play. And there's another guy I used to watch all the time when I was really into Battlefield, Jack Frags. I watched one of his videos today. His was really good. His was about the maps and some of the things they're doing for like anti-cheating, anti-hacking to hopefully keep this competitive without people ruining it, because that happens in online multiplayer games these days, especially on PC. And from what I understand, Valorant is going to be mainly PC. That I haven't heard any talks of console yet.
I don't know. I think I heard something about it being like a crossplay kind of game, but I imagine competitively it'll be PC for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't actually know anything about Valorant until excuse me.
See, when I coughed, I muted my mic.
I can't do that. I can't do that. That's why I need to get that new switchboard. Mine does not have the mute feature on the button. But Mindkiller or JD, I'm sorry. When we do our videos on YouTube, I'm always calling him Mindkiller. But yeah, JD sent me the video. Well, he didn't send it to me. He tweeted it on Twitter when they announced the name Valorant. And I had no. That's when I first heard about it, and he told me to check it out because when Shadowrun. And this is where Shadowrun comes into play. Where we were in Japan, we played the crap out of Shadowrun when it first came out, and we loved it for the most part. We're actually disappointed it died off and they didn't go anywhere with it. But honestly, the way Microsoft is, they probably would have milked the crap out of it and killed it because they would have made game after game and just watered it down.
Yeah, back then they just weren't doing great making games and stuff, and yeah, I think they just kind of ruined it. But I think it also, I mean, there's a lot of backstory to why I think Shadowrun probably died, but yeah, I mean, it's basically the same kind of thing. It's like Shadowrun and Valorant from the gameplay I've seen, they both start the same way. It's kind of a clone of Counter-Strike, where you kind of, you start with something basic, you have to earn money and buy more guns with the money you earn each round. But then they've added abilities.
Yeah. I keep like Jack Frags and this guy I was watching compared it to Overwatch, and I guess I can kind of get where they were going with Overwatch, but I don't exactly see that. I see more of the Shadowrun kind of. Yeah, I get they got unlike Shadowrun, you had abilities, but you could buy, but each class had a passive. Like the Elves can do more mana spells because they had more magic ability. The humans, the humans were better at guns if I remember correctly. And
the humans could do, I think, did tech better.
Tech.
Right? They could do like the gliding and stuff.
Well, I thought that was dwarves. Or what was dwarves then?
I don't really remember. Dwarves could absorb magic from other players.
Oh, that's right. Because if they got too close, they sucked the mana out.
Yeah.
And then you had the trolls, which were just big beefy tanks, and you didn't want to shoot them with automatics because the more you shot them, the more they.
Right. They had like their own personal armor that drained their magic, kind of thing.
But those were just those were all passive abilities. So
right, they just had those passive abilities, and then they had this big menu of magic spells they could buy that were similar to how you would buy guns. And we loved Shadowrun. I mean, that was such a cool game. I still consider that one of my favorite games of all time. Like it was so much fun. And Valorant looks exactly pretty much, I mean, obviously the graphics are definitely going to be a little better, and I'm sure the gameplay is going to be a little smoother, but it's basically the exact same kind of thing.
And they're probably not going to have any contamination achievements where you teabag a developer and get infected and pass it on to.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They probably won't have that. But it just kind of blows my mind because like comparing it to Overwatch is easy because Overwatch is here, but it's not like Overwatch. Overwatch doesn't have the Counter-Strike mechanics, and it doesn't have the short, tight corridor maps that Counter-Strike and Shadowrun and Valorant have. It's not really the same, except that the people in Overwatch have abilities just like these guys do. So when I look at it, I see Shadowrun, and I think just how far ahead of its time that game was. Like it was hugely ahead of its time. That they're only just now doing what Shadowrun was doing back then.
Yeah, combining counter. Yeah. And the only other thing I could see anything, and I guarantee this is not on any of their minds when they brought it up, of it being like Overwatch, is the characters have backstory. But if I remember correctly, when Overwatch came out, it didn't have backstory. They just started adding backstory because everybody got so heavily involved into the characters. So,
well, if I remember right, Overwatch was originally supposed to be like an MMO. It was supposed to be something to replace World of Warcraft, or not replace it, but another MMO for Blizzard to work on. And then they kind of abandoned that and turned it into
this competitive
the shooter we know. And then so they didn't really have a story or a plot or anything wrapped up in that. So they had to like scrounge all that together over time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And the way I see, and like I said, and JD said, I see Valorant a lot more like Shadowrun because it's very simplistic. If I remember correctly, Shadowrun only had one game mode, and it was the artifact, and everybody fought over the artifact. And I remember it was like who scored the most won that round or the match.
Yeah, basically the big difference between the different maps was basically just the size of them. Like you could only have, like some of them were short, some of them had like 16 players, some of them had 32 or something like that. I think that was the basic difference. But yeah, it was basically capture the flag. But that's what Valorant has said, that they're only going to have attack and defend. So they're only going to do, I think it's like Counter-Strike where you arm the bomb or defuse it kind of thing. So they're going to be focusing on that.
Yeah. Well, I did with the video I saw with Jack Frag. Was Jack Frags or was it the other guy? They talked about Valorant. Yeah, Quickso. I think that's who.
Yeah.
I think it was Quickso. They did talk about additional game modes, but they said they want to get the mechanics and the smooth, which I actually appreciate because I feel too many gaming companies rush into things too quickly, and this is why we have all the glitches and the flaws in it.
Yeah.
Riot Games has come out and said if they've talked about adding new characters, new maps, and new modes. However, they don't want to rush into it. They want to get everything perfect for the current game mode. I think there's 4 maps if I remember correctly, and 8 characters, and that's what they want to focus on. And once they feel comfortable with that and they think we're kind of getting bored with what's out there, they said they'll start releasing. They say they want to do characters maybe once every 6 months. They don't want to oversaturate the market with characters, but at the same time they don't want you to be drawn out so long you're bored. Same thing with maps. They said 6 months to a year for a release cycle for maps, and everything's supposed to be free except for they're going to do like what they do with League of Legends from what I understand. Right. To get their market in
skins and cosmetics and stuff like that. Well, I mean, it's kind of crazy that they're only going to have 4 maps because a lot of games like Titanfall and Shadowrun, they all got crapped on for releasing with few maps, and those games had a lot more maps than 4. So I wonder how intricate these maps are. Maybe they're from what I've seen, they're not that intricate. They're pretty plain, like like Shadowrun, the reason it didn't have a lot of maps was because it was super vertical. Like you could go up and down and sideways, and you could teleport through walls and teleport up into completely different regions. So if Valorant's maps aren't like that, I'm kind of surprised they only have 4. That seems really small. But it's also, I guess they want to make it competitive, so I can understand that.
I could be wrong. It might be 8 maps, but
no, I think I remember 4. Yeah, but they 4 in this YouTube description.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to look up an article about it real quick while you were talking. And they said they intentionally wanted the maps to be kind of plain and simple. They didn't want to get oversaturated with visual looks. They just wanted it to be clean, simple. Made it focus on the gameplay. Obviously, the graphics aren't going to be subpar or anything. They're just trying to keep it clean, keep it simple.
Yeah, clean and simple, and focus on gameplay is all great. But it also sounds like it's going to bore people really fast because, especially competitive players or people that are looking to go pro or whatever, they're going to dive into it and they're going to play 500 hours in the first day, and there's only 24 hours in a day, so that's pretty tough.
I mean, I know Smite's not really bored. Smite's not really similar, but it only has 3 maps.
I mean, yeah, but the thing with Smite is like you play the same map over and over again, but you have 100 different gods. And that's what makes the map interesting every time.
And they're going to have 8
it's
heroes.
Always a different matchup. And they only have 8. So they have 4 maps and 8 heroes. That's not a lot of variety. It's going to get stale really fast.
JD said 100 different gods. And yes, I am well aware out of the 10 videos of Smite I put on my YouTube channel, there's only 2 gods I've played. So I am aware of that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you can't all be amazing at Smite like I am.
Just
naturally talented. So it's fine.
I'm just slow.
It's fine. I got my Smite tattoo back here, so it's.
Well, one of the things I want to actually touch on in Valorant when it comes to like the abilities and stuff, like they seemed one of the things that bothered me, but going back to being like kind of boring because you only got 8 characters and 4 maps in the beginning, and people are going to play hundreds of hours, especially like the diehard League of Legends players. They're probably going to jump right into it.
Yeah,
and they're going to try to get as competitive as possible. Like everybody has some form of cloud or fog that's supposed to impede vision. Everybody's got some kind of wall that burns or kills in some way, and that kind of bothered me. Yeah, they got different names. The one was pretty cool is Phoenix. He can heal in his firewall, and like his ultimate, he's got an ult called Run Back, where when you call it, he sets a marker, and when he dies, he teleports straight back to that marker full health, like he never died. It's like it's supposed to be rising from the ashes kind of thing. But like a lot of them,
so that's his respawn. So otherwise he would like respawn in the fountain or whatever.
No, from what I understand, it's gonna be like Shadowrun. You die, you're done. They're into the next round, unless you can be revived by crap. I should have done a better job at writing these down. There's a hero. She does revives and heals, Speaking of revives, I thought they do have a revive mechanic. Phoenix can return himself to full health. I think there's one other person that can do something similar. And that's what I'm saying. Like, people got similar abilities, they're just called different names.
So your complaint is that all of the abilities are just kind of variants of each other. They're not really a big deal.
Yeah, and what from the gameplay footage I saw, a lot of the smoke screens look exactly the same with different colors. But that could be just because it's in a closed beta and they're not really worried about aesthetics right now. They're probably just
they might not have finished the graphics. That's true. Yeah.
So I'm gonna hold judgment.
Yeah, it'll. I imagine that the game is going to be a lot more gun based than they want to let on. And I imagine they're afraid of letting on that it's a lot more gun based because then everybody's just going to call it Counter-Strike 3,
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they just don't want the abilities to be all that powerful in the first place. Maybe that's their goal, is to make the abilities kind of, they want the abilities to enhance the gunplay, not the guns to enhance the abilities. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I can understand that, and I guess that's where it's going to differ from Shadowrun, because Shadowrun seemed to your abilities enhance the guns, and not vice versa.
I mean, the guns are pretty good in Shadowrun, but yeah, your abilities really kind of made your character.
Because and we didn't really touch on this. They had spells you can buy in Shadowrun, but you also had tech to buy. Like one of them was like Smart Aim or something, and it made you more accurate with semi-automatic rifles and stuff like that.
Smart Link, that's what it was.
Smart Link, that's what it was.
Enhanced vision one that let you see through walls, and the glider that you could use to glide around the map. Yeah. Well, and that was the other thing I wanted to talk about in regards to Shadowrun. One of the coolest things about Shadowrun was how the abilities interacted with each other. Like you could get an ability to see through walls, but if somebody else had the ability that let them turn into smoke, you couldn't see that person unless they were really close to you because they were smoke. But then if somebody else had the ability that let them push a gust of wind, they could push a gust of wind at the person with smoke and they would take more damage because they were smoke, right? Like there was that weird, this cool interaction. And I'm wondering if Valorant's going to have that interaction with its abilities. Like if they're going to be one counters the other, or you can use, one in a different situation than the other, that kind of thing.
Everything I watched so far, it doesn't sound like it, but I haven't read any articles about it either. And that's another thing. In Shadowrun, you weren't set for, like, people who played Owls should have focused their purchases on magic abilities, and the humans should have done more tech, but you didn't have to. You can combo anything, but in Valorant, every time you spawn in as that character, you're always going to buy that. Yeah. So which is
and that just follows the more modern trend of, like Overwatch and things like that. And
class base.
Yeah, exactly.
And actually,
that's fine. I can't blame them for that.
And one of the cool things, though, is every character is from a different country. Like Brimstone's for the, well, I guess is what like Overwatch too. Brimstone's from the U.S. They got Phoenix from Britain. Sova, he's from Russia. He's a scout. Cypher is from Morocco. Jet's from Korea. Jet was in that teaser trailer. The girl that like jetted across the water across the bridge. So they that's kind of cool. I don't know if they're going to get into their lore and stuff. They got one that's called Omen, and you don't know anything about him. He has no country of origin. He doesn't have a real name. And his whole character is about stealth and deception and stuff. So that's kind of cool. They do get it kind of complicated with some of these, but then they kind of look like they get stuck in a rut with the rest. They
might have that problem.
They might.
Like Apex Legends is kind of like that. Like each character you can pick in Apex Legends does different stuff, but some of them are kind of
generic,
kind of like boring. Yeah, generic, and it's like, either put a little more thought into it or abandon that side of development because it's not really working for some of them.
But they're not trying too hard. And one of the examples of like the duplicate abilities, like I said, almost everybody has an ability that says cloud something. It does a cloud of something. And I think this was a missed opportunity, and it might be they haven't put any effort into putting the animation or graphics into this ability. But this one person, her name is Viper, if I remember correctly, it's a she, and her alt's called Viper's Pit, well, that sounds really cool, like a pit of vipers, or there's gonna be vipers grabbing and biting or something. But the description was, and I saw it, a cloud of poison. So why is it called Viper's Pit if it's just a cloud of poison? And it looks like another person's cloud of fire or another person's cloud of smoke. And
and different. Now that you mentioned that, I didn't even think about it at the time, but now that you mentioned that from the gameplay videos I've seen, it's all the same, just a different colored circle, basically.
Mm-hmm. Which again, it could be that they haven't put the effort in. I hope they do. That's gonna be disappointing. I don't mind the simple aspect of going with map design. The map designs are pretty linear. There's gonna be, it's kind of like Smite, and I never played League of Legends, so JD, if you know anything about this, but
it's
they have
same thing as Smite, basically, as far as the map goes.
Yeah, they got lanes, and that's what they're doing with this too. There's only one map. Yeah, they're gonna do lanes.
They're gonna have like multiple lanes.
Yes.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So
that adds a little, like you have to guard different territory kind of things, just kind of like Smite does.
Yeah, and as of right now, only one map has 3 bomb sites, and it doesn't mean it's going to randomly pick one of those 3. Basically, the attacking team can pick up the bomb, and they could try one bomb site. They found out they're not succeeding there. They can try to have like a group distract while the guy with the bomb sneaks off to another site. So, but they only have one map known to do that. But again, I think everybody said the game they played, they only played the same map over and over again, so they don't know if there's other maps that will do that. And speaking of map design, where it's going to be along the lines of League of Legends and Smite, Shadowrun, I think one of the reasons why you also loved it, it was the first map that actually had depth, a game that had depth in their maps. Like there was actual depth.
Yeah, it was like asymmetrical. Like it wasn't like run from point A to point B. It was like you could run from point A to point F to point G and then back to C, and you're like, where am I? Yeah, and I don't think any game has ever made maps the way Shadowrun made maps. Like, I can't think of one.
There's a lot of maps that are games that have maps that they call vertical gameplay, but you can, no matter where you are on the map, if somebody's above you, you can probably see them from any point in the map. Whereas Shadowrun, just because they're above you, you had to find a vantage point to see them. You couldn't just be like, oh, they're above me, I can shoot at them. You had to run. Like, I remember one map, I think it was like in ruins. You're underground in like the catacombs, and then there's the upper level where the religious site was, and then there was the outside. And if the guy was outside up top, the people inside couldn't see him, and even if you were inside up top, the people underground couldn't see him. So you were forced to constantly be on the move.
I mean, there's just no way that Valorant's going to have a map like that in any fashion, which sucks, because those kind of maps are pretty awesome, and they lend themselves to a lot of different kinds of gameplay, like a lot of different strategies. So, but I can't hold them to Shadowrun's elite level. Shadowrun's up here, and then everything else is down here.
If there's any game developers on the off chance they find this podcast maybe 100 years down the road, the point we're trying to get at, we would like another attempt at something like Shadowrun. Is what we're trying to say.
I would like a game with maps like Shadowrun. That's what I want. Those maps were so good.
Maybe
honestly, like of all the things, that was one of the best parts of Shadowrun.
It was the maps, and you could teleport through walls if you got the teleport ability, and
exactly. Some people could teleport through the walls. Some people just like would run around the corner, and some people could see through the wall, so you could be hiding in a corner inside a building, and somebody's on the other side, like, I can see you, fool, and then like all kinds of stuff.
Unless you were a dwarf near somebody trying to teleport, because then they just teleport into the wall. You can also tell up to, like, when we talk about the multiple levels of gameplay, you can teleport up to the floor if you wanted to. Like, if you knew somebody's above you and didn't feel like running all the way down the hall to the first point to get you up, if you had teleport, you can teleport to the wall, throw a grenade at them, shoot them a few times, teleport back down, and like just do hit and runs on them. And then you got the tree life.
Valorant's not going to be like Shadowrun, but there's definitely similarities. So, and it definitely brought back some memories for me when I was looking at some of those gameplay videos.
No, I definitely saw what you were talking about after you told me about it. So but yeah, it is an exciting prospect. I'm looking forward to doing it. I'm not I kind of stay away from competitive shooters these days.
We're getting old.
Yeah, my reaction times aren't as good. I am, however, Pyro's listening. That's my brother. He really wants me to get back in Call of Duty. I'm going to check out this Call of Duty Battle Royale. I know.
I don't. It just blows my mind that you don't want to play Spellbreak, but you'll play Call of Duty Warzone. You realize it's Call of Duty.
Yes, I know it's Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
I know, but then I was debating it, but
and
then you mentioned
didn't want to play my game.
I've played every other game you played. You know how many games of Pyros I played? I played like no games of Pyros.
What? Pyros sucks.
Hey, you also got me interested in this whole gulag concept that Call of Duty's got going in there.
Pretty cool. There's actually, like, as far as battle royales go, it's got a lot of really cool ideas and concepts inside of it. Like, I've been watching some streamers play it, and it looks pretty fun.
Yeah, I think on Mixer,
we suck at shooters, and we suck at battle royales, and we suck at Call of Duty. So,
hey, your win rate for Spellbreak was 100% today. So
that's true. I did play one game and won it. So
and then he never played again.
Look out, world! Here I come.
I think that was about it with Valorant. I mean, I have the weapons breakdown for now. They got like 2 pistols, a revolver, an SMG, shotgun. Those are the side arms, like your secondaries. And for primaries, they got 2 SMGs, 2 shotguns, 4 rifles, 2 snipers, 2 LMGs, 2 shields, and 17 weapons total and 2 shields. So they kind of got some different. Yeah. Shadowrun didn't really have a whole lot. They had the rifle, the sniper rifle.
Yeah. I talking about Shadowrun's weapons, man. I thought they had some of the coolest ideas for some of their weapons, like the sniper rifle. The sniper rifle was amazing, and it was really accurate, and you could shoot really well, but you couldn't shoot unless you were zoomed in, which
was
just
awesome.
Like changed sniper rifles for me. Like, I've never wanted a sniper rifle more than that one, because like you can't cheese with it anymore. You have to actually be sniping with it to use it.
There's no scopes.
You had to, yeah, exactly. There's no like 360 no scopes, blah blah blah, running around with a sniper rifle at point blank range. Like, that stuff's the worst. And then you had to think about, if I can't shoot this while it's zoomed in, what else do I need? I need a pistol or an SMG or something small that I can carry as my secondary weapon. It was very cool.
And that was
very good designs.
Yeah, another thing with the weapon design too is like one particular character, the troll, you couldn't shoot it with SMGs, or they even had a minigun, because the faster you hit it with bullets, the harder his skin got, and the harder his skin got, the harder it was to kill him. So you had to shoot him with semi-automatic weapons, or you can get the katana. I forgot about the katana.
Burst fire, or the katana, which could ignore, and that's more of those cool interactions. Like, if you shoot the troll, he's just gonna keep coming at you, and his armor is gonna get better. But if you use the katana, it ignores his armor, which was very cool. But that meant having to get close to him, and the troll, is beefy and can smash you into the ground. So it was like this cool trade-off of what were you going to do? How are you going to fight them? That kind of thing.
And the smart trolls always stayed near the tree of life, so they're healing while you're...
Yeah, they just stand under that stupid tree. Yeah.
Man, I miss Shadowrun, because even the revive ability, like if you killed the reviver, everybody attached to that person bleeds out until somebody else revives them.
Really cool interaction, yeah.
That would either force the person to stay next to a tree or desperately find another teammate with revive, or they're going to bleed out and die, and half the team gets wiped out.
Yeah. But at least Warzone's trying something new with their revive system, with the gulag and forcing you to fight a 1v1, and then you can jump back in. I think that's kind of neat.
That is neat. And, cool. I mean... Riot is doing their own respawn thing. They got one guy that can self-revive, essentially, if he gets his ult up. And then you got the girl that can revive people, too. And I can't remember. I think it's the same thing. You kill her, the person... No, they don't die. I don't think they die. But...
That would be cool if they did that.
That would be cool.
That's a cool mechanic, and it kind of makes sense. Like, their life is now tied to you. So if you die, they die, that kind of thing.
And you won't have a heal. Like, that's one of the issues with like games with healers these days. They end up being more aggressive and wanting to get kills, but if they have to be tied to the person they're supporting, then they die, and that person not only dies quicker because they're not getting the heals anymore, now they're going to die quicker because they're bleeding out because the person that revived them is dead. And I think that would force the healer to do the job more conservatively as far as being aggressive.
Right. Yeah.
So
let's move on. Let's talk about what's next on the list. We had Valorant, and then we're going to Do we want to save Carl for later, since you're going to rant about him a little bit?
Yeah,
Or you
probably
just wanna
make it
talk
one of
about
the
it now?
last. Make it one of the last ones. I mean, because when we get to 2K NFL, I don't have a lot of experience with the Madden,
Right. Yeah,
so
that's
that's
fine.
gonna be
Let's just
mostly.
talk about that one now, because I mean that one's pretty recent news. It's actually more recent than Valorant, so we might as well just
Yeah,
get it out of the way, because there's not a lot to say about it either. I mean, basically the news is that the NFL has announced that they're going to partner with 2K Games again to make more football games. And anybody who's into Madden or the NFL in general knows that EA has had the lockdown on making football games for a while. I don't know the last time a 2K game came out. It's probably
they
been
said
10 years.
2004,
Even longer than 10 years. Like
16 years.
it's crazy, yeah. Um, and that's just because of a contract that they signed or whatever. They decided to become exclusive. It's probably made the NFL a lot of money, but those games have stagnated. They haven't gotten a lot of innovation. They're just kind of the same thing every year, and they're you know, I don't. I love football. Like I am passionate about football. Football and like computers and video games is pretty much my passions. So I'm super excited to have 2K making another football game, and then
Don't get
hopefully we
him.
get some competition, and hopefully the games improve. That'd be great.
Don't get him started on his Colts in their season last year.
Oh, please don't talk to me about the Colts right now. But I mean, it would be cool because one of the other things I kind of miss about football games are like the kind of off games. Like it doesn't have to be straight football every time. Like NFL Blitz was this kind of
Yeah, I
cool, like
I
super
remember
tackling
that.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like they could do stuff like that again. I miss that kind of stuff. Why like now all they're trying to do is make it into like a football simulator where you have to next time I play a Madden, I'm gonna have to be a general manager and figure out salary caps. And I'm like, I just want to play football, man. I don't need to know how salary caps work. Don't bother me. So
Kotaku even mentioned that part because I read it real quick. But they
oh
did
yeah, the Kotaku article.
that EA still has the market on that though. They said they will allow other game developers to make football games. That's the agreement with NFL. But however, any football simulators, as they put it,
Oh, that's interesting. So
yeah.
well,
So nobody else can make
screw
a
your
football
simulators.
sim.
They're
Yeah,
boring. So basically, that is what they're saying. They're saying we're gonna get like NFL Blitz kind of games, like the
yeah.
kind of offbeat kind of games, which is great. Let's do it. I'm down. I will play the crap out of those games.
Yeah, they said suggests the game will be steering clear of formula honed by the Madden series, but who knows what games or twists 2K NFL games will be exploring instead. Management sims, visual novels, or JRPGs. I don't know what a JRPG is.
It's a Japanese role playing game, like a turn-based role playing game, like Final Fantasy.
That would be interesting. A turn-based football game.
That would be cool. I would totally play like I don't know, like a football RPG. That would be amazing. I would do that.
Even if
That'd
it was
be great.
the only way I would do it is if it was unforgiving as Divinity is.
Yeah, it's got to be right up there with Divinity. Give it to Divinity. Let the Divinity people, after Baldur's Gate 3, they can make NFL goes to camp. I don't know what you would call an RPG based on the NFL.
We will be. I think we're planning to talk about Baldur's Gate in another episode. So keep in if you guys are excited.
Yeah,
about
we should have brought that up, but that's fine. I mean, there's not
We don't
really
wanna-
anything new about that.
Yeah, and we don't want to kill our topics in the first episode. And the next one rolls around. We're just staring at the camera, asking how everybody's doing.
Hey guys, what's up? Yeah. Yeah, so that's about it for the 2K thing. I think that's really cool. I'm really excited about that. I think anybody who cares about NFL games in general should be pretty excited about that, to have 2K back. And maybe that means that the NFL's opening up to even more publishers. Maybe there's even more down the line. Who knows?
No, they were saying that 2K is talking about starting as soon as next year for the first NFL game.
Yeah.
So, one commenter, though, in the article on Kotaku just said this thing is going to be ripe with microtransactions, so they're not super thrilled about that part.
Me.
But what sports game isn't these? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
how it goes.
And the reason why Mike Kelly kind of took the lead on this one is because he's really big into football. Baseball's more my sport, and I don't really get into sporting games.
Is it a sport though? Is it?
It's more of a sport than NASCAR.
Or is it boring. And NASCAR is boring too.
What about esports?
Esports are fun.
It was okay. In his defense, what got me back into doing the Smite videos with Mindkiller or JD was it's gonna take me forever to stop doing that, and I'm gonna start calling you JD in our videos. But what got me back into Smite was going to DreamHack. They had the Smite championship games.
Yeah,
for
World
the
Championships.
So I actually had a lot of fun watching it. It was actually pretty exciting. So
yeah, esports are really fun to watch live. Like I think that's a really underrated aspect of esports. Like, I'm sure it's not underrated to people that actually do it, but that was like the first time I'd ever done it. Like, have you ever watched esports live before?
I haven't even watched it on a stream or anything like that. I've always watched.
Yeah. I mean, we've been into games for so long and we've never even bothered to try. But that was super fun. I had a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Pyro, speaking of which, Pyro was talking about his high school or junior high or elementary. I can't remember what grade he's in. He works the grade his school works for. They're talking about doing an esports team for the school.
Yeah, they do it a lot. Like Smite even has like a high school league that goes around to different high schools, and they help like equip the school with the capabilities to do it.
Maybe that's why they're doing it.
Yeah, they form their little leagues. Yeah,
they'll get better computers. They can double as like science computers too, because it'll be powerful.
Right, exactly, and I think that's how they do it. They kind of like, it becomes an extracurricular activity. They can socialize with other people. They can do other things with those computers, and I think that's kind of how it works.
But yeah,
it's great for kids, especially in like a like a poorer area where they're not going home after school and getting into trouble. They're just playing video games in the afternoon, and then they're done for the day. I think it's
doing practice with their teams and whatnot. Yeah. But to wrap up the NFL and 2K, I was just gonna say the only experience I did play Blitz, and I had a lot of fun with Blitz. And then the first and only Madden game was Madden 95 the Genesis.
That's the only one you've played.
It is
the Genesis. I mean, I haven't played one in the last few years because they're all the same and they're boring. But there was a point where I think it was like, I don't know, it was like 2006 or something. You could buy Madden and you got like a year of NFL Sunday Ticket, which is the NFL's package for watching all the games. So I bought Madden just for that. I think that was the last time I bought Madden. So yeah.
Well, the funny thing is I got that Madden for free, and the only reason why my brother and I played it, we loved playing on AstroTurf in the rain to injure the players so when the ambulance come out, and we try to see how many players we can take out with the ambulance by standing in front of the that's the only reason we played.
Right. That sounds exactly like what you would do. Yeah.
I don't know if Pyro remembers that at all, but yeah, I guess so. The next one, are we gonna do my rant? Or are we going to do GameStop?
We can do your rant. Let's do it. Let's talk about SoaRCarl.
Yeah, it may not go as long as I originally intended it because I've long since calmed down since Mindkiller or JD brought this.
This was a while ago, too. I mean, this is a few days ago. Let me just introduce it, and then you can go off on it.
All right, go for that.
Sorry, man, my throat is killing me. So SoaRCarl was a Twitch streamer that got a little inebriated on Twitch. Oh no, I'm not gonna be able to do this. You're gonna have to do it. Sorry.
Mindkiller is he got COVID. I think he's got the COVID. He's coughing up a storm right there. For those of you who are listening who can't see what's going on, but that's why he's asked me to take over. But SoaRCarl is a streamer. I know absolutely nothing about him. Honestly, the streamers I pay attention to are only the streamers that are in my streaming circle. People are friends of mine and I like to support. I don't really care that much about the bigger streamers. And the only reason why I know about Ninja and Dr. Disrespect is because they're on the stream all the time in the news.
Yeah, I don't think he's a big streamer. I think he's a medium-sized streamer. But I've heard of Soar, and he was a part of the organization Soar, which is a decently sized esports organization. But yeah, I'd never heard of him before this incident.
No, yeah, and he's bigger than me, so that makes him a big streamer to me. But the video that JD sent me is the guy, he says he got drunk, but he's essentially drinking flavor of water, if you want to call it flavored. He's drinking Coors Light from what we can tell.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if he had like 6 of those before he got on the stream, but I don't think he was so drunk from that.
He would at least, I would have to at least drink a 12 to 24 pack to feel anything
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
Not to brag about my drinking abilities. That might be more telling than bragging at this point, but his first mistake. I mean, I've had a few drinks on my stream. You guys have all been there. In fact, the latest Scrub Lords video I posted, I was drinking wine, a real manly drink, I know. And I was telling JD that was
Hey, don't diss wine. Don't diss wine. Wine is a great drink. Wine is an easy drink. Okay, you buy it and you drink it. That's it. You don't have to mix it. You don't have to chill it. You just uncork it and shove it down your gullet. You can do that for $5 a bottle. That's fine with me. I will drink wine any day.
A higher alcohol content than most beers, especially Corona or Coors Lights.
1 bottle of wine's all you need. You're good.
But that's not the rant I was going to get onto that JD was talking about. It wasn't his drinking habits and his drinks of choice. So I'm just building up to what happened. He was streaming. I don't know what he was playing. It's probably Call of Duty or whatever the bigger streamers play. But we're going to avoid cussing in these podcasts, by the way, because a lot of the platforms we're planning to post on either frown upon it or remove us into a category we don't want to be in if we cuss. So I'm going to kind of paraphrase what he said, but I guess somebody in his stream said something to him about not having money. And for those who haven't seen the clip, and he says, "Say I don't have money again," and he pulls out his pistol. People have gone as far to try to analyze whatever pistol he had. I personally don't care. He's an idiot with a pistol. That's what I care about.
Yep.
And he did what's called charging, what we say in the military, because we're not allowed to say cocking because it's offensive, apparently. We can't say cocking our weapon. It's now charging. He pulled the slide back.
Homophobic.
Yeah, probably. Well, okay, I should say the Air Force. I'm not gonna say the Army and Marines may laugh at me if they find out that, but they probably call it something completely different. But anyway, he pulled the slide back, racked around he racked it, thinking he and ejected around, thinking he pulled his magazine out. But he did not pull his magazine down. All he did is pull the rack back.
Yeah, but he didn't even make an attempt to pull the magazine out.
No.
So I don't even know what he was thinking.
He's drunk.
Like, he didn't even try. I mean, yeah, obviously drunk had a big part of it. But, like, I don't know. It was really weird.
He admitted he only had the pistol for 2 years, which is probably his only gun, which means he's probably done little to nothing with that thing since he's bought it. So he knows absolutely nothing about what he's doing.
Right. Like, that pistol's probably been sitting in a closet for the last 2 years. He probably hasn't even used it. I don't know. Like, I don't even know why he had that pistol there, right? Like, why was it even in arm's reach while he's sitting at a computer drinking?
I don't know.
And why was it loaded? Why was it sitting there loaded in the first place?
Okay, so in his defense, my guns I have set up for home defense. Mine have around, every single one of them have a round in the chamber. However, if I have alcohol, they're nowhere near me. They're kept separately.
Right. Yeah, you should definitely, if you're drinking, don't play with guns, children. That seems like pretty good advice. I'm going to go ahead and throw that on a t-shirt.
Don't play with guns, period, honestly.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be playing with guns sober. They're not.
And that's what pisses me off. Yeah, it's not. I like right now, and the reason why Mind Killers let me have this because I got fired up about it, and also I'm big into guns. I own about. I'm not gonna say how many I own because I don't want people to know, but I own quite a few.
Million.
I own 3 million guns. I do, in fact. I own quite a few, but there is not a single gun in this room right now. Wait, no, that's not.
That's not a good look. There's not a single. Wait, let me look. Okay.
No, I just remember because my fiance made me move. I had my guns stored in another place. She made me move them, so they're stored somewhere else. So that's why I had to think. Because now I'm not the only one that's gonna be living in this house. So now the closets that I thought were my closets are not my closets anymore. So they had to be relocated. But yes,
I don't know the last time I had a closet. I miss closets. They were great for storing things.
They're still great for storing things, just not your things.
Just not my things. That's for sure.
But anyway, I don't have a gun with me in my streams at all. And A lot of people, and that's one thing, so we're going to get into that too. A lot of people are confused why he got banned from Twitch, or at least suspended. I guess they don't know if it's permanent or yet, at least according to his apology, because he doesn't know what he's going to be doing from there. He looked pretty upset and panicked because he's basically invested his life into streaming, and now it's gone because he's an idiot. That should be a lesson to you. Be smart with what you're doing on streams.
Yeah.
You
You need to respect the job. That if you like having that job, respect it and don't do stupid things. That'd be a great start. Yeah,
and it's a pretty good job. You're gaming and you get to drink while at work. So
right, yeah. Any job where you're literally making money playing video games and getting drunk and shooting guns, I guess is a pretty good job. But just eliminate the gun part and you're good.
Yeah. But basically everything that guy did wrong. There's actually, I can't remember the other YouTuber, but our streamer, I guess a guy, he's a former Marine. You said, right, JD?
Yeah. He was a military veteran that kind of did like a response video where he literally showed the guy how to take care of his gun properly. It was pretty funny.
I forgot. I meant to watch it before this because I want to know if he mentioned don't play with guns or don't mess with your gun while drunk. But don't play with guns. Period. Don't mess with them while you're drunk. The guy racked around and he saw the brass ejected and then he pulled the trigger. You should never pull the trigger. Period. Unless you're intending to shoot it, and that's a huge mistake he made.
Right.
He was joking around and pulled the trigger thinking he's being funny. He should have never done that, period. You never pull the trigger unless you're intending to shoot it. Now, I have pulled the trigger when I cleared the gun to make sure the pin is not back, so that way when I do put a magazine in, the round's not accidentally going off when I'm loading up the gun. And I know a lot of people are like, well, the gun's got fail safes. Even if the firing pin was in the reverse position, it's not going to strike the round and fire. I'd rather be safe than sorry and not have the firing pin already in the rear position. So... in case I accidentally hit slide 4 or pulled the trigger like this idiot did. And he never took the mag out. He says he thought he emptied the gun, but he, like JD said, he made no effort to pull that magazine out of the gun, and that's what made the round cook off.
Yeah, well, and I'm pretty sure, didn't he call it a clip too? Like, I'm pretty sure he didn't have any idea how a magazine in his gun worked. Like, he did not understand that just taking, like, he took the bullet out of the chamber, right? That was the only thing he did.
That's it.
And then I think he assumed
that was good.
I don't know. It just doesn't. It boggles my mind why you would assume that the other bullets aren't going to go off. Like, I don't know.
He doesn't have a muzzle loading pistol from like the Civil War or anything. You put one round in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're not fighting a revolution, buddy. It's a regular pistol there.
It's going to shoot more than one time. And the reason why this got me so fired up is because I'm very active in the guns rights world and the Pro 2A and all that. And I know people got their feelings about that. But people like this guy is why so many people want to get rid of our 2A rights, is because they're like, people can't be trusted. And they're not wrong. They can't be trusted.
Well, that guy can't be.
Yeah, definitely can't be. I'm actually I don't have a problem with doing like people taking classes. In fact, I recommend anybody that wants to buy a gun, it's like, have you ever shot a gun before? No. Okay, you're not buying one until you go shooting with a proper instructor. I recommend that for anybody. I'm never going to tell somebody, well, no, that's not true. I had one airman that wanted me to help him buy a gun, and I said I wanted nothing to do that because he was so irresponsible at work. I can only imagine what he'd be like owning a personal firearm. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be any part of getting him a gun. So... But improper trigger discipline, you should never put your finger on the trigger unless you're intending to shoot. You should never squeeze the trigger unless you're intending to shoot. And just racking the slide back does not empty the gun. The gun he had probably had a 15-round magazine. He effectively emptied 1 round out of 15. He still has 14 more to go.
Right.
Unless he was, and I doubt this, unless he's a guy that's really concerned about his mag springs. There's people that get worried about compressing the magazine spring for too long so it doesn't retain as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not him.
Yeah, it's definitely not him.
He's drunk. He was drunk during that lesson.
Yeah. So, and they would only load maybe half a mag or a quarter mag because they don't want to keep the spring compressed for too long. But I doubt he did that. He had a full mag. So, and his apology video, I don't think he was sorry that he did that. I think he was sorry that he got kicked off.
Well, I mean, he admitted on there that YouTube wasn't enough to pay his bills anymore, right? And that's why he was streaming in the first place. So losing that stream, and he got kicked out of SoaR, like, he's done.
And SoaR's
probably has to find a new job.
Mm-hmm.
Like that
And
sucks.
I'm fairly certain SoaR is probably what got him to where he is in the first place. So
Yeah, exactly. The being a part of SoaR gave him some good exposure, and yeah, so I'm sure he's. I mean, it sucks, but he
yeah,
deserves it. He
he
definitely
does.
deserves it.
And well, the icing on the cake is you said he shot his $1,000 monitor too. So
Right?
that
Yeah, he admitted. I think he admitted in that video that, like on the stream, all you can see is that he shot like a mug,
yeah,
like some
and
sort of
some
like thermos thing, like this. And he shows it like the hole went through, but he admits later that it went through and destroyed $1,000 monitor. Yeah,
so
good.
for the guy, yeah, good for the guy that asked him if he has money. Ask him again because I guarantee the answer is going to be no now.
Right? Yeah, that's true. It did start off with, "Yeah, I got money." No, you don't.
Not no more.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm just gonna wrap it up. A lot of people think he got banned because
pretty long here.
yeah. A lot of people think he got banned because he showed a gun on stream. It is not, from what I understand, the TOS of Twitch. It is not bad for you to show a gun, but brandishing a gun is bad, and brandishing usually involves you threatening somebody, which he technically did threaten somebody because he said, "Say I don't have money again," and he pulled the slide back. So to me, he was joking, but that's still a threat, and he was
Right.
And brandishing also, from what I understand, is just like the definition is like waving it around and doing violent acts with it, and he was doing all that. Like, I've showed a gun on a stream before, and granted I'm small enough that probably nobody reported me, but all I did is I held it, showed it to somebody, put it back down, and went on about my business. He waved it around, pulled the slide back, and even shot it. So I think he just got banned for brandishing, and he technically threatened his viewer, even though it was definitely in a joking manner. But people don't take threats lightly, especially this day and age when shootings are happening shootings have been happening for a while. They're just getting more notice in the news. So, but yeah, that's it. The last one we were going to do was GameStop. So
yeah, let's talk about GameStop. Before some recent news, GameStop looked like they were kind of struggling. I think there was something about in November they lost like $500 million. And there was an article on IGN about how they're trying to revamp GameStop because nobody goes in there anymore. I don't know the last time I even went into a GameStop, and most people get their games digitally on Steam or through the Microsoft Store or use Game Pass or whatever. So yeah, so I guess GameStop's just like hemorrhaging money, and they don't know how to stop it. And because like the main way that GameStop made money in the past was through trade-ins. Like that was their like bread and butter, not like selling new games or anything like that, or selling systems or anything like that. It was through trade-ins, and nobody does that anymore. Who does that?
no,
And it was always a scam. It was a ripoff.
you
They
got
gave you
$2
like
for it.
$5 for like a billion games. Yeah, it was stupid. So
I did it maybe a handful of times.
yeah, I did it a couple of times, but it was so bad. The money wasn't worth it. I'd rather keep the games. And so IGN posted a thing about how GameStop was looking into turning the store into something more like a tabletop store. Yeah, like
gaming cafe.
They wanted to set up like an internet cafe kind of thing with like gaming chairs and monitors where you could go in and play games. And then they wanted to have an area for like Dungeons and Dragons and
Magic the Gathering,
kind of like stuff. Yeah, Magic the Gathering. That's right. Yeah. So, which would be cool, but again, that doesn't make them any money.
No, unless they're going to charge people to rent computers that they set up or something.
I guess, yeah, I guess they would charge for like the time, like $1 for half an hour or something like that. But
I mean, if they host tournaments, they can have entry fees into the tournament and they can get money that way, I guess.
I just can't see that like turning them into a
$1
billion franchise, right? Like,
I mean,
just the cost of renovating all the stores. Like, would be crazy because most GameStops were tiny and packed.
Yeah, they were very tiny. Well, I don't know that one GameStop that had the incident with an individual that I don't know how I'm going to describe this. That destroyed the place because they were misidentified. I guess that's the safest way I can put it, and it ended up becoming an internet meme for a while. Did you ever see that?
No, I don't know what that is.
I'm I'll have to probably show you offline because I'm not 100% sure.
You seem uncomfortable with it.
Well, because I know certain platforms like YouTube, you can't. The word I want to use, you can't use, even though it's an acceptable word by the group that identifies with it. So I don't know why. So since we're trying to branch out to multiple platforms, I don't want to use it and limit it because there's memes about it everywhere. The person destroyed the GameStop because they were very unhappy. And that was probably the largest GameStop I've ever seen. I don't know where it was, but that's why I brought it up. And the other saving grace, because I have this app called Robinhood, and it somehow got 4 shares into GameStop for free. And when I got it, they were going for $3 a share, and now they're at $4.20 a share. And the reason why it went up,
He's rich.
I'm rich. I'm real rich. I mean, I'm making money regardless because they were free. But the reason why they went up is because GameStop even appoints Reggie. I can't say his name.
Yeah, I don't know how to say his name either. Reggie Ames? Phil
Ames. Yeah, Phil Ames.
I don't know.
He worked with Nintendo USA and then retired or something like that.
He was part of Nintendo of America for a long time.
And now he's going to be on the board of directors for GameStop. So I guess some people have a little ray of hope for. I mean, I remember as a kid, I used to love going to GameStop because you can find used games for really cheap. And that's where I used it the most, was the used game market. When they got heavy into pre-orders, I really liked GameStop. Last time
that was where GameStop made their money, was in those used games for sure.
And pre-orders. The last time I actually was in GameStop was Battlefield 4 came out. I remember specifically Battlefield 4 was the last time I ever went to GameStop for anything, and I actually went for the pre-release.
Sorry to hear that.
Me too. Battlefield 4 is one of the arguably better Battlefields.
Battlefield 4 was my favorite of the Battlefields, but that standard is very low. Like, that's a very low bar to hit,
especially as of late.
Yeah.
Battlefield is trying too hard to be like Call of Duty, in my opinion, but I'll save that for another rant. But GameStop, it's a neat idea, but it's a gaming store. It's not a gaming hangout. So it sounds like a youth center.
If it works for them, it might be interesting, but I don't see it.
It's not going to pull me into it. And
it's definitely not going to pull us into it. Like, I'm not going to go hang out with a bunch of 12-year-olds playing Fortnite all day.
No. And I think the closest GameStop to me is about 40 minutes away, and I'm not driving 40 minutes just to go play games when I can do it in my own home, and I can do it without clothes if I want to.
I'm doing that right now. I'm not even wearing pants. Hello, podcast world.
Yeah, so that's another good thing about streaming, because as long as you don't let people know you're not wearing pants, you don't have to wear pants to work.
Up suddenly.
Yeah. You don't have to wear pants to work.
Yeah,
that's what. But yeah, I mean, I'm slightly sad GameStop's going down. I always thought the trade-ins were scams. Whenever I had an old game I was trying to get rid of, I sold it on eBay because I made more money that way than I did taking it to GameStop. So
every now and then eBay hurt them too.
They probably did actually. Yeah, you're right. The only time I really took advantage of the trade-in policies is every now and then they'll have like a special deal. If you trade in certain games, you can get like the brand new game for almost half off. Or something like that.
Right, yeah. And they do a lot of stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. I haven't used GameStop in a long time. I don't know anybody who really has. But it is kind of sad because they were basically the only gaming store around, you know? So, like, if you went to the mall with your mom, that was basically the only store you wanted to go into was GameStop. Because there wasn't anywhere else to go. But
another thing I heard
maybe it's time they go the way of Blockbuster and Radio Shack and all those older stores.
It's funny you say that. So we mentioned that at work yesterday, and one of my airmen's like, you would think I'm surprised there's not a game streaming service like Netflix or anything like that. We laughed. It's like there's GameFly. I don't know how well GameFly's doing, but GameFly did come out.
I don't think GameFly's even around anymore. You're starting to break up, by the way.
Am I?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Not all of us have fiber like you do. So
that's true. You should get some gigabit Ethernet like us awesome people over here.
I will petition
Verizon.
I'll start petitioning the mayor of Warner Robins to get on that.
Get it up there. Let's go. All right,
but
I think that about wraps it up, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's not really a whole lot. GameStop is just going downhill. The only thing I can add to that real quick is I knew somebody that used to be a manager at GameStop, and he says the GameStops, at least in the state of Virginia, were notoriously bad at managing and treating their employees, and I think that's another thing that hurt them. A lot of disgruntled employees.
And I think I've seen articles about that too. They've been pretty crappy to their employees. Yeah, so that sucks.
But yeah, that's about it about GameStop. I mean, a lot of you GameStop may have never been relevant to you guys in the first place, but we thought it was interesting. They're trying to become a gaming hangout spot now.
Yeah, that would be weird. That'll be weird if it works to any degree.
I wonder if they'll do a name change. Well, no, because GameStop still fits.
I mean, GameStop still works. I don't think they will, but they could like rebrand, come up with some new logos. I don't know. We'll see.
Freshen up a bit. That's probably what Phil Ames is for.
Right.
I guess we're out to our outro portion.
Yep, that's the end of our topics we wanted to talk about this week. You know, we're gonna try and do this once every 2 weeks. I think that was our plan.
Yeah, I think I think we were gonna shoot for once every week, but talk about going about to 2 weeks. Like I said in our intro, Mindkill is a dad, which
we got lots of stuff going on. Basically, we are busy people.
We are. I'm about to get married in the next month, and I'm active duty military, so I don't know what that's going to entail with my duty hours and schedule, and I may not even be in the same time zone at some points. So we'll try once a week. Don't be surprised if we do it every other week, maybe once or twice a month. So,
but along with that, you know, we definitely want to talk about video games and stuff like that. We also want to talk about military stuff. So if anybody has any questions about, you know, military lifestyle or just wants to talk to us about your experiences in the military, we'd love to hear from you, and we can talk to you about that. We'll have contact info in the physical description.
And we're gonna try to generate the hashtag NTWP, and you can use that to like ask questions, or maybe even bring articles you would like to hear us talk about gaming, or we talk about even getting into some like I mentioned, big into guns, get into some gun discussion. And we probably won't do that too much, though. Maybe once every now and then we'll mention guns, but if there's interest.
Yeah, I mean, if there's interest, we'll talk about it. I don't care.
So with that being said, like non-political gun stuff, like maybe a new gun's coming out.
We're going to stay away from politics because we don't see eye to eye on politics most of the time.
We do not. No, we don't.
We're not going to really talk about that. But yeah,
we can be somewhat civil.
NTWP. You what? Yeah, we can be civil,
but we don't see eye to eye.
Yeah, and I don't want to be civil with you because you're stupid. So, use hashtag NTWP to talk to us, to link stuff to us. I think we can put our Twitters in there, but I'm JD Levite on Twitter. It's one word. It's my name, and then your Airconda TVT.
Yeah, don't use the other Airconda.
Yeah,
I'm avoiding that for depression reasons.
Oh, okay.
I got way too political in there. That's another reason why I want to avoid politics, because I got too heavy into it at one point, and it was definitely getting a little overboard. So I'm taking a step back from politics.
Yeah. So yeah. Anything you guys want to talk to us about? Gaming news, military lifestyle? You let us know. We will talk about it on our podcast, and we'll mention you if you have a good question or something like that. We're gonna be obviously he's streaming this on his stream. I'm probably going to put the video portion on my YouTube channel, and then we're going to rip the audio for podcasts, and we're going to put them everywhere we can put podcasts. We haven't quite figured that part out yet, but we'll be doing that this week. So you can just subscribe to our podcast and maintain it that way instead of trying to catch the live show. But it will be edited, just so you know.
Yeah, if you want the raw, it would be mainly in the streams. I'm assuming Michael or JD's going to probably edit it for his YouTube channel, not do the whole thing too.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
I don't think we have any plans to ever monetize the podcast. We'll probably do like donations and stuff. I don't know.
I'm not worried about like trying to make money off of it or anything. I just want to talk about games with people.
So if you're interested, just subscribe, get it for free, check it out. It's a hobby, and any rewards we get out of it, it's just a bonus. So
yeah, we won't. We won't get we will not. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And that's okay.
What we had more. Did we have any more call to arms? No, yeah, just use hashtag until we'll have other ways to contact us in the descriptions wherever this is going to be posted. But for now, use hashtag NTWP on Twitter, and we'll pay attention to that and follow us on our Twitters. And you can even, I got my direct messages open because I don't care. I know how to use a block button if people get out of hand. So I don't know if JD has his direct messages open.
Don't talk to me. Don't send me stuff.
So you got something that you found interesting in the gaming world or military or even VA related, share it up. Mind Killer got out, so you know if you're thinking about getting
I'm really
out.
into Veterans Affairs news and stuff like that, so we can definitely talk about that stuff for sure.
And I'm still active duty, so if you got questions about active duty,
so you can call and you can hashtag NTWP and make fun of him for staying in for so long. What an idiot.
You'll be laughing when I get that 100% disability. So
yeah, you can't grow a beautiful beard like this. Look at this beard. It is
sad
luscious.
Sad thing is, even if I got out, I probably still want. My fiance absolutely hates it when I have a beard. So she says,
"Yeah, Katya didn't like it either when she found out I was going to be permanently growing a beard." Hooray! Joke's on her.
It's still there. But hey, you guys should be honored for those who are watching the video. He trimmed it for the podcast.
Wait, what did you say? You broke up there.
I said for those who are watching the video for the podcast, you guys should be honored because he trimmed it for the podcast. At least he said
I shaved. I got like a nice shirt on. I like this shirt. It's a comfortable shirt. Yeah, I went all out for you guys on the video podcast. So you're welcome. Nobody watching us right now.
He doesn't even do it for his son.
Yeah, that's right. Screw that kid.
I think that's
about it. Let's wrap it up. It's been really long. We did way too long.
I figured this one's gonna be long because it's gonna be the intro, the first one. So
yeah, that's fine. All right, thanks for listening. I hope you guys, if you are listening, you hang out with us and reach out to us and talk to us. And
look forward to it.
Yep. See you later.
Bye, guys, and we're signing out.